Okay, good afternoon once again. We'll be talking about the use of Exodus in the book of James. This follows our continuing learning about the use of the Old Testament in the New, specifically in the book of James. So, um, in the previous two meetings, we did a study on the use of the book of Genesis. Now, James using the book of Genesis, and last meeting is our study of the chapter of Leviticus 19. And we saw that in Leviticus 19, it talks about two important texts which are cited in the New Testament. The first one was the imperative that be perfect, because the I, referring to the Lord is perfect or holy. And then the second one is we shall not show favoritism. And then the Leviticus 19:10. And then the other one is to love our neighbor as ourselves. So now we're looking at from the book of Exodus, and we saw previously by the way, the reference will come from the journal article of Katie Makar, entitled Exodus in the General Letters, which is part of the bigger publication of a book entitled Exodus in the New Testament, edited by Seth M. E. Horn. So these are some of the verses so that we could easily locate them within the framework of the use of James in the book, use of James for the text from the book of Exodus. And so the 10 commandments that were alluded includes the fourth command, the third command rather, and then which is not to use the name of the Lord in vain, found in James 2 verse 7. And the two succeeding texts we saw last meeting also about verse 11 and A and B, about the imperative not to commit adultery, and then you shall not murder. Here, in James 2:11, the author invokes the Decalogue or the Ten Commandments prohibitions against adultery and murder. Although unlike when you read from the Sermon of the Mount, si Jesus associated adultery with yung looking lustfully at a woman or a man, and then murder from the context of harboring anger, or calling a brother or a fellow person as a fool, so it is sabihin natin, the exposition in the Sermon of the Mount's use of the Ten Commandments is different, from what we find here. Although we know that the Ten Commandments is also found in the book of Deuteronomy. So there are two traditions of the Decalogue, found in the Old Testament. Given the prominence of the Decalogue for both Christians and Jews in this period, it is possible and perhaps likely the author did not need to quote directly from either source. Meaning, because of the popularity again of the Ten Commandments, James did not, there is no longer a necessity for James to say that, it was said in the book of Exodus. Now we do not find that introductory formula here, because yung higher regard of Jews, both Jews and Christians, for the law, and whenever they say that they describe it from the law, automatically it is connected with Moses as the lawgiver, so we see here different understanding of authorities, different understandings of authority rather. First is God as the source, Second, as Moses as God's spokesperson, or Moses as the prophet of God, no? And then the third, yung ano, yung law as a collection of scripture, law and the prophets as a collection of sacred writings, no? Sacred writings. So makita natin itong mga traditions na to are important, no? For James in his establishing his also ano, no, standing, no, as not only as a brother of Jesus, but as ano, no, as the bishop of Jerusalem. Now, I'm trying to avoid the term apostle of Jesus, no, kasi again, we already discussed that it is a term reserved for the 12, no, and James, the son of Zebedee and Alphaeus are those who are identified as apostles to distinguish them, no, from James, who is the brother of Jesus. Again, for Macar, these prohibitions fit yung ano, no, yung command not to commit adultery, not to murder, fit in the author's larger argument against favoritism. So why and so? Because it is provided in the context that when a person violates one, he violates all, no? It is the role, ano yun, from what we call particulars to ano, no? From the particular to the general, no? At kagaya nito, in a way there is some equivalent, no, writing in that if you show partiality, if you show favoritism, or you favor the rich over the poor, you are also committing a heinous crime, no, which is like ano, no, again, hindi natin ito masyadong observe, no. And I remember yung discussion about slander, or ano, no, paninirang puri, no, sa Tagalog, no. In some ways parang we condemn, no, we condemn a person who in the church or a believing community who committed adultery, who committed fornication, who committed yung pagnanakaw, nagnakaw ng pera, no. Pero yung slander, no, we do not, parang sa loob ng church okay lang siya, no, na may mga nagsisiraan ng ano, no, ng honor, no, dishonoring one another inside the church, no. So again, ang sasabihin, wala namang law, no, wala namang law na nagba-violate, no, na wag kang ano, no, wag kang mag-gossip, no, wag mong chismisan yung buhay ng ibang tao, no. But again, ano, no, yun yung isang bagay na tinatry na i-evoke ng ano, no. Dito nga yung hindi mo pagpapahalaga sa mahirap, or yung paghuhusga mo is ano, no, in-elevate, no, para kay James, no, in-elevate niya, no, in line with the violation na you did not commit yung law, no, or the rule to love one another, no. No, at parang equated na siya sa ano, no, sa adultery and murder. But again, ano, no, yung tinutukoy diyan yung ano, no, yung particularities. The violation of particularities is a violation of the general ano, terms. And both hindi talaga tayo makakatakas, no, sa harapan ng God, no, kasi lahat ng bagay, no, kino-consider ng Diyos, no. So well of course for us, no, meron to na tayo tinatawag na big sin o kaya little sin. Siguro kasi nakafocus tayo dun sa consequences, no? Pero sa harapan ng Lord, marumi itong mga ito. Continuing with Macar, instead of showing favoritism to the rich, the author calls his readers to love their neighbor as themselves. The command to love, yung Leviticus 19, is established by God. And so yung pagsinasabing, I am the Lord, or the Lord is one, no, is again goes back dun sa ano na yon, sa confession na yon ng mga Hudyo, no? Just as those who murder are transgressors of the whole law, those who show partiality to the wealthy transgress the law because they have failed to love their neighbors, or to ano, no, neglected the poor, no, na para sa harapan ng Diyos they are very important in society. So when we show favoritism, hindi natin pinapahalagahan yung mga pinapahalagahan ng Diyos, no? So again, that yung tradition na yun, it goes back do sa ano, no, to the spirit of the letter of the Ten Commandments, no? No, at again, when we talk about food, when you deny someone of food or deny someone of clothes, no? Yung clothes is about nakedness, no? At again, yun na naipaliwanag na naman earlier ni ano, no? Ni Bob Gundry, no? Na hindi ito talaga naked, kung hindi yung damit niya ay ano, no, ay very susceptible siya sa lamig, no? So again, para na rin natin siyang pinatay, no? Merong back of it, no? Hindi natin siya pinatay directly, pero dahil dininay natin siya the person's ano, no, necessities to survive, no? Parang ganun daw na we have failed to love our neighbor. And again, napabayaan natin yung ano, yung spirit of the Ten Commandments. So, again for MacArthur, the unity of God sustains the unity of the law. In conclusion, the author uses the prohibitions against adultery and murder from the Decalogue to explain how any infraction of the law, any violation, comprises the integrity of the whole. So, calling into the context of faith should be done with works, no? Faith should be manifested by works. Believers are called to keep the whole law, which is summarized by the command to love one neighbor as oneself. At without regard for wealth or status, without regard for social standings, no? Kaya nga, I would like to ano, no, yung paggamit ni Paul sa Galatians, no? That he said na pag na-fulfill daw natin yung ano, loving one neighbor or living according to the Spirit, para na-fulfill daw natin yung entire law. At pumunta doon niya sa Galatians 4 na sinabi niya, di ba, there is no slave nor free, no Jew nor Gentile, no? No? Sa harapan ng Diyos, no, everyone deserves to be considered, no? At everyone deserves to receive the love, no, coming from our neighbors. Now ito very ano to, no, very peculiar, no? Itong si Eldad at saka si Modad, no? Something that I also hindi siya ganoon kapansin-pansin, ano, pero siguro tingnan natin siya. Ito nga no, Numbers 11:24 to 29. Tingnan natin 'yon. Numbers 11 verse 24 to 29. Sabi dito, so Moses went out and told the people what the Lord had said. He brought together 70 of their elders and had them stand around the tent. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke with him, and he took some of the power of the Spirit that was on him and put it on the 70 elders. When the Spirit rested on them, they prophesied but did not do so again. 26, however, two men whose names were Eldad and Medad had remained in the camp. They were listed among the elders but did not go out of the tent. Yet the Spirit also rested on them, and they prophesied in the camp. Verse 27, a young man ran and told Moses, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. No? So dito, itong UBS or UBS 5, yung ano, no, yung UBS, United Bible Society, they cited itong James 4 verse 5 as an allusion to Exodus 20 verse 5. Unfortunately, hindi natin makikita yung names ni Eldad at Medad dito sa Exodus 20 verse 5 as ano, no, as mentioned. So we see given naman na pag-uusapan sa verse 5 ng James 4, or do you think scripture says without reason that he jealously longs for the Spirit he has caused to dwell in us? No? At ano yon, yung it is an allusion to what transpired dun sa event na dapat si Moses as instrument of God ang siyang magpapas ng spirit doon sa 70 elders. At ano, no, surprisingly na kahit si Eldad at Medad ay separated from the rest of the 70, let's say 68 of them, no, ay pinaranas pa rin, no, ng Diyos, no. May kapangyarihan pa rin ng Diyos, no. Pinakita dito sa event na to sa Numbers 11 na kayang iparanas, no, ng Diyos yung espiritu na kahit na, no. So it is now being directed to the believing community, no. to the believing community, given that the ano no, yung Spirit of God no is really is bestowed no yung by yung passing on ng Spirit ay nasa power ng God at kayang ibigay yun ng Diyos sa ano sa kanyang people. I know we are not talking about yung kagaya ng fruit ng gifts of the Spirit as portrayed doon sa 1 Corinthians, and then also with the fivefold ministry in Ephesians. Dito it's about the ano no, yung general will ng ano ng pwedeng iparanas ng Diyos dito sa mga believing community. So yun, no, 1 James 4 verse 5 and Numbers 11 ano, 12 share the themes of jealousy and the divine bestowal of the Spirit. It is nearly certain that a work like Eldad and Modad would have been anchored by the narrative in Numbers 11:24. Though we're talking about Exodus pero hindi siya talaga sa Exodus makikita. Let's just say the tradition, yung Exodus tradition found in Numbers 11. And then second, in rabbinic tradition, si Eldad at saka Modad are rewarded for their humility. Proverbs 3:34, no? Allow me, no? Proverbs 3:34. Hindi ko na na-copy dito eh. I should have done it. Ayan. He mocks proud mockers but shows favor to the humble and oppressed. At sa situation nito, ang pinapatungkulan ni Makar dito yung ano no, yung virtues na meron kay Eldad tsaka Modad na again parallel with the believers na hindi bumababa or hindi nagma-manifest ng lubusan yung espiritu ng Diyos sa mga taong nagsasabing meron silang faith pero ano naman no, mayayabang naman ano. Si Dale Allison, cited ni Macardo sa kanyang material. Allison summarizes, James concerns himself with desire, jealousy, the spirit speaking against others, the humble being exalted, the giving of grace, and God drawing near to the saints, all of which were part and parcel of the Lord. Or yung ano no, yung napakamaiksing storya na ito tungkol dun sa buhay nitong dalawang taon na to, si Eldad at saka si Modad na pinag-uusapan natin sa Numbers. At doon sa continuing discussion ni Makar about Eldad and Modad, nagsabi siya that it is possible na mayroong portion no ng narrative na ito na kay Alice not kay Allison, kay Eldad at saka Modad na originally were part ng Exodus pero hindi na siya na makikita doon no. So again, we do not have appropriate evidence to it. But yung absence kasi no nung importance ni Eldad at ni Modad ay demanding no when we think of Exodus na supposed to be dapat na doon yung kanilang yung storya ni Eldad at Modad should also be written in Exodus. Instead we find it in the book of Numbers. And the last one is about divine self-disclosure, no? When James encourages his readers to show endurance like Job, in James 5:11, he reminds them that the Lord is compassionate and merciful. At sa element na to between Yahweh and Job, no? Yung pinaranas ni Yahweh kanyang mercies, yung awa niya kay Job. But again, there is this self-disclosure in Exodus 34 verse 6, no? Na mabilisan lamang, no? Okay, verse 4, 34:4. So Moses chiseled out 2 stone tablets like the first ones and went up to Mount Sinai early in the morning as the Lord had commanded him, and he carried the 2 stone tablets in his hands. Then the Lord came down, and the cloud stood there with him and proclaimed his name, the Lord. And he passed in front of Moses, proclaiming the Lord, the compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness. Verse 7, maintaining love to thousands and forgiving wickedness, rebellion, and sin. Yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. Yung tungkol sa justice, he punishes the children and their children for their sin. Discipline naman ito for the parents to the 3rd and 4th generation. So again, ano ang image portrayed yung visible, no? Yung Ten Commandments na chinisel out ni ano ni Moses after the first pair of tablets was destroyed, no, nung ano no nung in a visible form, no, na binasag ni Moses sa harapan ng Israelites. Ang gusto nating i-employ dito yung pinapakita ng ano no yung character, no, yung character ni ano no ni Yahweh dito sa ano no sa Exodus, dito sa James 5:11. Sorry. Uli na pala 'yun, no. At when we ang anong makikita natin dito? Ano yung mga points ng reflection na makikita natin dito? Well, of course, una na ang Diyos ng Israel, siya ring Diyos ng ano no, Diyos ng mga Christian, ng mga mananampalataya. Which means si Jesus is an appropriate representative of God, no? Manifested in the flesh, no? At dito sa Exodus 34 verse 6, within the context of the Ten Commandments, so lumalabas yung pagpapahalaga kasi dito sa James 4, no? 10 to 11, humble yourselves before the Lord and he will lift you up. Brothers and sisters, do not slander one another. Anyone who speaks against a brother or sister or judges them speaks against the law and judges when you're not you are not keeping. Sorry. I'm reading the wrong text. Ayan, ano. As you know, we count as blessed those who have persevered. You have heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord finally brought. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. Ayan. So, nandun yung ating, of course, another part of it is yung concept ng modeling. That if God is the model of mercy and compassion, dapat din yung mga mananampalataya will show mercy and then compassion. So, talking about Job, i-hold muna natin siya, no? We will talk about Job for another day. Pag nailagay natin siya within the study of James chapter 5. No? So we know that James could therefore reflect on the character of God using language of or very similar. At kahit hindi na siya gumagamit ng it was written or the losses, no, ganito, yung merong introductory formula. Automatically, the Jews who were familiar with the Old Testament would easily recognize, no, that it is about the character of ano, no, God. Yung yung ginagamit ni James dito in order to, of course, when you talk about yung ano, yung pagbaba ng cloud, no, about the presence of God manifesting, and then God saying that the Lord is compassionate and merciful. Ay ano talaga, no, it always goes back to the Exodus nga, no? Not only yung Exodus as a book, but yung experience ng mga Israelites when they went out from Egypt is that doon ipinaranas directly at visibly yung ano yung mercy and compassion ng ating Panginoon dito, no. Now when I say mercy and compassion, I'm not trying to say na magkaiba yung mercy at saka magkaiba yung compassion. Rather than we are talking about here, yung isa is yung ano, yung damdamin, yung sabihin natin, yung nararamdaman ng God about the suffering of his people at yung need ng God to make a response, no? Ng Diyos pag naawa siya ay ibinibigay niya yung pangangailangan ng tao. So, as a parallel, no, as a fitting conclusion to our lecture for today, makikita natin that yung paggamit ni James ng Book of Exodus is always about ano, no, is always about the identity of Israel in a relationship to Yahweh. At yung need, no, yung need na dapat ay ano, ay wag dapat maging careful ang mga Christians in helping the poor as they were cognizant about the ano, no, about the loss of wag magma-murder at saka wag do not commit adultery, no. And again here sa self-disclosure ni God as both merciful and compassionate. Okay, so anything about it? Ano pa mga masasabi nyo? class or interactions about what we did about the study about the book of Exodus, no? In James. Kuya Jim, may sinasabi ka? Kuya Jim? Well, anyway, ano naman, ano, of course, I do not need to give a detailed background pa ng Book of Exodus, no? Unlike what we did dun sa Leviticus, kasi Leviticus 19, hindi siya ganun ka-popular, pero ganun pala ka-importante, no? Yung Leviticus 19, kasi nandun yung moral ethics ng ano, no? Yung magandang portrayal ng morality and ethics ng ano, no, ng Israel, no? Within the understanding of the Old Testament. And here, we still see here na ang ano, no, ang Book of Exodus, bagamat we are looking at it, even the Jews and James were looking back at it, no, as the source and the sense of authority and identity for the Jews. Makita natin ganun din ka-efficient, ganun din ka necessary, no, yung understanding ng ano, no, ng law, ng Ten Commandments at ng role ni Moses, no, as lawgiver dito sa ano, sa understanding ng natin ang Book of James. And when you talk about yung concern of the poor, Deuteronomy naman yon. I know which is Deuteronomy, at least it is close with ano, no, yung Book of Exodus at ng Numbers. When we talk about the command na hindi tayo mag-show ng favoritism at pahalagahan natin yung needs ng ano, no, ng mga needy and poor when we look at it from the combination, not the separation, no, of gospel and social action sa ating ano, no, sa ating ministry, ano, no, ministry sa ano, no, as believers, no. And sometimes gusto kong if I'm not mistaken, yung ano yata yun, yung merong ganong usapin tungkol sa missions, na pinaghiwalay yung ano, no, pinaghiwalay yung gospel proclamation at saka yung ano, no, yung social concern. And I think that ano, I'm just trying to get, baka kasi magkamali ako, yung Edinburgh Confession yata yun sa 1910, ano, na kung saan yung sa pagsasagawa daw ng mission, yung parang na-emphasize masyado yung kaluluwa ng tao, at kaya naman tuloy parang nagiging ideological debate o nagiging very ideologically motivated yung understanding natin, which was originally there pero pinaghiwalay siya. So yeah, again, sorry about that. I hope ano, no, I'm just trying to say na hindi yun na pag nagpo-focus tayo do sa social concern ng tao ay we are now becoming liberal, no. I don't think, or ano, no, palagay ko that's unfair, no, unfair. Dapat makita natin talaga yung ano, integrated yung dalawang ito, no, na ano, for example, nagsasagawa tayo ng medical mission, no? Dahil ano, no, yung desire talaga natin na tulungan sila din physically, no? Na makabahagi tayo ng salita ng Diyos. Wag yung bababa yung tingin natin doon sa mga hindi tumanggap sa atin, di ba? Kasi parang ano naman yun, nalilimutan natin ang gusto ng Lord, tayo maging agents tayo in bringing good health din, no? Good health, pagpapakain, meron silang may natatanggap silang pag ano, yung may mga nasasuot silang damit, di ba? So I think naman ano, it's masimulan natin yung pag-integrate natin, no, na pagtuturo sa church na dapat ay ano rin ay kagaya ng sinasabi ni James. Actually, ine-echo ko lang yung sinasabi ni James, na hindi talaga natin paghihiwalayin yung gospel at gospel proclamation at saka yung ano, works manifested in the love for neighbor and not showing favoritism. Okay. Unless there are any questions or additions po.
Per reaction lang. Ako natuwa po ako dun sa emphasis nyo kasi yung sinabi nyo dun sa isang slide na James does not dispute the power of faith to justify or to save. But the true nature of faith yung binibigyan niya ng diin. So yun nga, yung faith dapat nakikita, kumbaga faith with works, kumbaga yon. Yung true faith dapat nakikita yun sa ginagawa. Tapos ang na-appreciate ko din yung isang definition yun ng favoritism. Ang nasa isip ko lang kasi pag favoritism, yung parang may pinapanigan ka. Pero nabanggit niyo po dito kanina, sabi niyo doon, hindi natin pinapahalagahan yung mga bagay na pinapahalagahan ng Diyos. So, favoritism yun. So, meron ka nga pinapanigan. Ang pinapanigan mo, hindi si Lord. Kumbaga parang ibang bagay, kumbaga, kaysa sa Diyos. Kumbaga parang yun sa akin, parang, to be reminded dun sa isang facet ng favoritism ay malaking bagay. Kasi parang, ayun, nakita ko siya sa ibang light ba. Ayun po. Tapos, and then, yung sabi nyo nga, hindi magkaiba yung mercy and compassion. Pero yung nakakatuwa lang na yun nga, yung compassion, yung response ng Diyos dun sa, kumbaga pagpapakita pa rin ng kanyang kahabagan, yun gano'n, nakakatuwa lang. Ayun po, ano pa ba? Tapos na-appreciate ko po yung context na binigay nyo, mas naintindihan ko yung gustong sabihin ni James sa dun sa panahon nila. Tapos sa akin ngayon, mas parang yun nga, yung beauty kasi parang mas na-appreciate ko po yung yung discussion nung lesson po natin. Dahil po dun sa mga background.
Thank you. Again po, hindi po ako nang-aaway ng Armenian ha. Gusto lang, ano lang para bang, pwede ba tingnan uli natin yung Bible? Kasi kahit ipakita mo, ganun pa rin yung resulta. Ayun. Kuya Jim, ikaw, Kuya Jim, ano yan? Kanin. Dun sa faith without works na natin, yung lesson natin. Kuya Jim, nakamute ka pa rin. Yan o. Opo.
Ayun, Pastor, minsan kasi ang aking yung question lang na laging it comes to my mind, nung ako'y bagong Christian pa lang, I was telling my Catholic friends about that, yung ma-born again, etc., etc., the regeneration. It's by faith in grace, by grace through faith. Hindi minsan sa isip ko yung if I have the mind of an Armenian pastor, paano ko kaya i-depend yun sa yung katulad ng ating laging karaniwan na encounter sa evangelism, na when I wasn't during that time na ready sa to point my argument, hindi ko may paliwanag yung faith and works. Tapos sinabi pa niyo yung kay Abraham na hindi lang by faith tayo nasisave, ganun. Kaya minsan hindi ko rin makita, kaya minsan gusto ko rin i-research, sir, yung ano ba talaga yung pinakapunto ng Armenia na always na talagang hindi na sila makaalis dun sa doktrinang yon. At narinig ko pa rin niya kay Pastor David Jeremiah, renowned Armenian din siya, pero nalimutan ko lang, pero he could explain it well and you will be convinced na ang pagiging Armenian niya. Pero hindi, you won't like to hear that he is an Armenian. Ayun ang isang ni David Jeremiah. Napakaganda ng kanyang turning point din. Noong araw doon ako nakikinig, sir, sa kanya. And it's an Armenian website. And ako ay na-appreciate ko yun. Oo. Pero ko nga kung bakit talagang hindi na sila makalampas doon sa puntos na yon na talagang katulad ng aming discussion kanina ni na Ma'am April, yung work righteousness, yung self-righteousness, self-centeredness na way to salvation is through works, yung mga dinidiscuss namin kay Sir Hans Suli, ayun din na minsan, pero sabi nga ninyo, sir, ito yung naman na ano ko, we love the Armenians. Oh, na there will come a time na through siguro pag pray ma-enlighten din sila. Ang aking pastor, nung yung first time pastor ko, sir, ay isang may reverend pa, may doctorate degree, gano'n. Pero talagang astound sa defender ng Armenianism. Nagagalit yun sa akin pag sinasabi ko yung yung regeneration na nangyayari sa tayo. Ano na una, faith or regeneration, na magagalit yun sa akin. Galit na galit, sir.
May
Sa
Ordo
akin
Salutis,
yung,
Ordo Salutis again.
sa Ordo Saludes. Kaya hindi mo na maintindihan from eternity to to glorification,
Opo, opo.
ang Diyos ang gumagawa. Oo, kaya ayun, sir, lang yung
Yes po.
how would I how would I be yung kung talaga ako yun, ano yung akin reason? Yun lang ang maisip ko eh. Ako yung dati Armenian, pero kasi yun ang naumpisan ko sa pagiging Christian ko. Pero once na maintindihan ko yung gospel, and yet itong mga doctors na ito ay napaka ewan ko bakit still, sabi nga niyo, aawayin kayo ng mga Armenians. Ganun ni sir ako, inaaway din ako. Pero ngayon, hindi na ako nakikipag-confrontation sa kanila.
Thank
Ayun
you.
lang po, sir.
Kuya Jim, yung starting point kasi, no? Ang starting point ng I believe ng reform is yung predestination. Yun yung starting point. So of course, I do not need to explain predestination here. Ang starting point naman ng Armenian is freedom. Freedom. Ibig sabihin, ang person has the freedom at rerespetuhin yun ng Diyos. When you say freedom, pag ayaw mo na sa Diyos, no, pakakawalan ka na ng Diyos kasi ikaw ang nagsabing ayaw mo na eh. So meron ganong concept ng freedom at tayo ang nagde-decide ng ating destiny, no? Kahit na parang bang ang understanding ng predestination, pinlano kita anak na ikaw ay makasama ko, maligtas ka, mapunta ka sa pero dahil pinili mo na lumayo sa akin, bahala ka na sa buhay mo, parang ganoon. Pero again, sabi ko nga, yung understanding din ng freedom should be really defined, no? So ayun lang at salamat Kuya Jim, yung sinabi mong yan habang buhay ay magkakaroon tayo ng mga ganyang mga usapin, no? Hindi pa yan talaga masisettle. Pero again, yung attitude natin in handling, lalo na this is a reform na na seminary, na unahin natin yung charity, no? Yung pagmamahal kahit sa mga differences na meron tayo, no? Rather than kunyari sinabi mo maliliwanagan sila, baka prayer din nila, Kuya Jim, maliwanagan daw tayo daw yung nadidiliman. kaya para na lang makaiwas tayo dun sa usapin na yun na nagpipintasan tayo. O di sabihin na lang natin, sige, si God naman yung magja-judge sa uli sa mga pinagsasabi natin eh. Pero again, kung paano natin mai-impluwensyahan yung mga tagapakinig natin. Mukhang yun yung pupuntahan ng topic natin next meeting. About dun sa yung pag-iingatan natin na pagsasalita ng ganyan. Anyone else? Si Pastor John, Pastor Lito, si Pastor Sally, o si Pastor Jerry.
Sa akin siguro, sir, pag sinabing faith without works is dead. Parang, kumbaga, sabi nga doon sa ano, pagka yung buhay mo o yung tao ay walang change life, eh talagang dead yung faith mo. Kasi kailangan sa tao dapat may, pag masasabi nating true Christian tayo o we have a true faith, kailangan mayroon tayong change life. Kasi pag wala, big sabihin ba, sabi ni James, talagang dead yung faith mo kasi hindi makikita sa'yo yung change life eh. Kaya nga, sabi nyo kanina yung alala kong sinabi nyo sir na hindi pwedeng ipaghiwalay yung proclamation ng ng ano ba yung kanina sir, ng gospel at saka yung ano doon, hindi pwede paghiwalayin yung dalawang yun. Kasi yung gospel kasi, tsaka yung gospel, di ba, yung siya yung epicenter, yung pinakasentro noong relationship ng tao sa Diyos. Kaya pag pinaghiwalay mo yung mga bagay na yon, talagang siyempre, doon tayo nagbabase sa yung relationship natin, doon nagbabase din sa salita ng Diyos. Dapat hindi talaga pwedeng paghiwalayin. Kaya yun. Kaya pagka nakabase lagi tayo doon sa salita ng Diyos, ay talagang yung sabi nga ni James, ay talagang magkakaroon ng, kung totoo yung pananampalataya natin sa Diyos, talagang magkakaroon ng tunay na faith, ay magkakaroon din ng tunay na change o pagbabago sa buhay ng isang tao. Kasi yun ang dapat na makita sa araw-araw nating buhay, kasi ito yung sinasabi ni James na dapat makita sa buhay ng tao sa pang-araw-araw na buhay habang nabubuhay dito sa mundo, yung change life. Kaya para sa akin po, sa nakikita ko po, parang yun yung ano yun yung aking naiintindihan doon na talagang kailangan natin. Kasi maging Presbyterian ka o Reformed ka man or Arminian ka man, pag sinabi lang natin ay may pananampalataya ako sa Diyos, pero pag walang change life, walang pagbabago sa mga buhay natin, ay talagang parang nagiging hipokrito na lang tayo. Ang hypocrisy na lang yung sinasabi natin gayon na wala naman tayong ginagawa. Kagaya ng mga paliwanag kanina na kung hindi tayo nagbigay doon, sabi natin na God bless you, tapos parang meron naman tayo pero hindi natin kayang mabigyan yan, na parang madamot din naman tayo, at talagang hypocrisy na lang yung sinabi natin God bless you. Walang love doon sa kapwa natin, na sa gaya ng pinag-aralan natin nung umpisa na dapat we have to love our neighbor as ourselves. Kaya kung nakita natin silang mayroong pangangailangan, eh di kung change na yung buhay natin through believer tayo ni Jesus Christ, kasi ni God, kasi di ba si God ay merciful doon sa mga oppressed people, sa mga nangangailangan. Eh talagang kailangan nating, kagaya nga nung sabi kanina, nakita natin nga talagang giniginaw siya, dapat may damit tayong bibigyan natin. Kaya parang para sa akin yun yung talagang change life, at saka yung kasama yung paggawa natin ng kabutihan. Yun yung aking po sir, yung aking nakikita po doon, at salamat doon sa mga naririnig kong mga paliwanag nyo na parang unti-unti na de-develop sa aking isipan yung kumbaga nakikita ko yung katotohanan doon sa yung may naiintindihan ako doon sa Book of James natin ngayong pinag-aaralan, at sa kinukuha din natin sa Old Testament. Kaya maraming salamat po.
Yes, thank you, Kuya Jerry. Notice dito sa diagram ko na to, wala yung word na salvation, no? Kasi yun nga, pinotray ko naman, hindi talaga siya yung interest ng text, no? In fact, isang beses lang na tapos hindi pa yun yung tinutukoy, no? So, kung ito naman, titingnan nyo to from an Armenian, support na lang Kuya Jim, no? Lumalabas pa rin, faith minus works is not saved. Is equal to not saved, no? Hindi pa rin, kumbaga, laging yung salvation yung nagiging argument sa yun yung nagki-carry ng yun. The rest na lang, bago tayo mag-close, Kuya Lito? Or siguro wala nang idadagdag, no? O sige, again, thank you sa ating, thank you sa inyong hard work. At, ako rin satisfied rin ako sa na-establish natin for today. Hindi yung satisfied ako kasi umayon kayo sa akin. siguro totoo na rin yun, di ba? Mahirap naman magpaka-ipokrito tayo, Kuya Jim. Kanina pa paulit-ulit yung word na ipokrito eh. May sense pero ayun nga na sa akin lang, sa part ko lang, kailangan din kasing i-share mo yung ipakita natin sa iba kung paano rin ito pwede pang tingnan, rather than yung madali kasing igihit natin yung gusto natin eh. Tapos naman, yun naman yung role natin, kaya tayo nag-establish ng context, no? At purihin ang Panginoon, meron tayong mga ganitong advantages ngayon ng use of technology, at saka mga mga mararaming readings para i-assist tayo. So again, yan. No, salamat po sa inyo. So dito po tayo conclude. Sakto 4:00 sa atin sa time natin ngayon. God bless. Ituloy niyo po yung mga
Thank you din po, sir. God bless po.
God bless. Ayun, si Pastor Jonathan. Thank you. Bye.